Okay, so are you ready for a deep dive today? Because we're exploring something truly unique.
Absolutely.
We are diving into Grip/Gara by Ewell Juliana.
Okay.
And trust me, this is not your average self-help book.
Right.
It's raw, deeply personal, almost like reading someone's diary.
Yeah.
But it's infused with poetry reflections and even practical exercises.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's really, really something special.
Well, what's striking right off the bat is the book's dedication to my younger self. It kind of like immediately sets a tone, right? Like introspection, someone grappling with their past and searching for answers.
Absolutely. And what makes this even more intriguing is the use of both English and Papiamentu throughout the book.
And that's not just a stylistic choice.
Right.
It speaks to the author's background and the cultural landscape he comes from. Papiamentu is a language spoken in the Dutch Caribbean, blending Portuguese, Spanish, and Dutch influences. So it's really a reflection of this rich history of cultural fusion.
It's like he's weaving together these different parts of himself, right? Like his personal experiences, his cultural heritage, and then this deep desire to understand his own struggles.
Exactly. And speaking of his experiences, he dives into his childhood in Curaçao.
Okay.
And he paints this vivid picture of his home with a mandi, a kind of wilderness right behind his house.
Wow.
It's almost like stepping into a different world.
Oh, yeah. He talks about communicating with plants and animals, seeing falling stars, finding a burned black stone.
Yes.
It's almost mystical.
And this fascination with the mystical, the unconventional, it becomes a recurring theme throughout the book.
Okay.
He seems drawn to things that exist outside of ordinary experience.
Yeah. Almost finding meaning and even strength in those places.
But at the same time, he's grappling with these really intense emotions. He doesn't shy away from the darkness, the anger, the doubt. In fact, he seems particularly drawn to the color black.
And this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
He talks about, black days, a black stone, even a black cube that represents the world I created in my mind.
Right.
But for him, black isn't just negative.
Right. He actually says, black had always been an attraction for me, a power that came to me and never left, at destructive times and at extraordinarily beautiful times.
Exactly. It represents a certain power, a sense of potential.
Yeah.
This duality of darkness and light, of finding strength in unexpected places, seems central to his journey.
But then there's this whole other layer, his relationship with religion.
Which seems pretty complex.
Yeah.
He talks about feeling trapped by it, even going so far as to call the Bible a cage.
It speaks to a real internal struggle, this push and pull between faith and doubt, conformity and rebellion.
Yeah.
It's almost as if he's searching for his own truth, his own way of making sense of the world,
It's like he's really trying to break free from these external structures, that no longer serve him. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. And that's where his art comes, in the music, the writing, the drawing.
Right.
He even calls it a channel for his depression.
It becomes a way to process those complex emotions, almost like a form of release, right?
Absolutely. But also creation.
Right.
He's not just reacting to his experiences, he's actively shaping them into something new, something uniquely his own.
And this is where Grip/Gara gets really practical. He doesn't just leave us with these raw emotions.
No, he doesn't.
He offers these exercises,
Yeah.
these concrete steps for dealing with those negative feelings and harnessing that inner strength.
And they're surprisingly simple.
Yeah.
But incredibly powerful in their directness.
Right.
He doesn't beat around the bush with complicated theories.
Yeah.
He goes straight to the heart of the matter.
Exactly. Like one that really stood out to me is called I Am Feeling.
Okay.
And it involves setting aside 30 minutes. And it sounds kind of like a ritual, actually.
It does, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Like, what does he have you do?
Well, he starts with 5 minutes of focusing on your breathing, just becoming present in your body.
Okay.
And then it's 5 minutes of focusing on how you actually want to feel.
Oh, wow.
Not how you're currently feeling, but the feeling that you're aiming for.
It's like consciously shifting your mindset.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then what?
And then he has you spend 5 minutes just sitting with that desired feeling, letting it really sink in.
So it's about embodying it, not just thinking about it,
Exactly. Embodying the feeling, not just intellectually.
Yeah.
And then comes the writing, 15 minutes of writing in your notebook about how you want to feel, getting all those thoughts and aspirations down on paper.
And here's the kicker. You don't just write it.
Right.
You verbalize it.
Yes, you do.
He instructs you to say out loud, I am feeling, your written feeling. And I am your written feeling. And repeat this twice a day.
It's like a mantra, right?
Yeah.
A way of reprogramming your subconscious mind.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
Yet it really makes you think about the power of our words and how we talk to ourselves.
Right.
But he doesn't stop there.
No, he doesn't.
He goes on to other exercises like I Am Moving, where he encourages you to pair physical action with these affirmations.
That's such a key point because it highlights that mind-body connection.
Totally.
He wants you to get up, walk, run, jump, all while affirming I am.
Wow.
Reinforcing that sense of agency and self-belief.
It's like your physical state can influence your mental state.
Exact.
And vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's I Am Writing.
Yes.
Which is all about just getting everything down on paper.
Just that pure expression.
No judgment, just pure expression.
It's a form of decluttering the mind, wouldn't you say?
Releasing those pent-up thoughts and emotions, creating space for something new to emerge.
It's fascinating how he weaves together these different modalities.
It is introspection, physical activity, creative expression, all in service of self-discovery and healing.
It's all connected.
And speaking of influences, he dedicates a whole section to those who have inspired him along the way, even writing them letters.
It's like he's acknowledging the impact that these artists have had on his own journey of self-discovery.
Yeah.
Showing us the building blocks of his own creative process.
It reminds us that we're not alone in our struggles.
Exactly.
That there are others who have walked this path before us and in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
They offer us guidance and support.
They do.
Even if it's through their art or their words.
Yes.
Absolutely. He mentions musicians like Danny Filth.
Oh, hey.
Whose music he credits with helping him visually express his pain.
Interesting.
And then there's Mr. Doctor from the band Devil Doll, whose music provided solace and a sense of secrecy during tough times.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's not just music. He also writes to filmmaker Kenneth Anger,
Okay.
praising his work Lucifer Rising for its dreamlike quality and powerful imagery.
So it's clear that Juliana finds inspiration in art that's unconventional, even a bit subversive.
Yeah.
He seems to be drawn to those who dare to be different, to challenge the status quo.
It's like he's saying, hey, this is my own personal map that I've kind of pieced together for navigating darkness and finding meaning.
Yeah.
And he's being generous enough to like share those guideposts
With us. And what's so powerful about that is it reminds us that we can find strength and inspiration in the most unexpected places.
Right.
You know, it doesn't have to fit some predefined mold of what self-improvement should look like.
Right. It's about being open to like what resonates with you.
Exactly.
What sparks something within you, even if it's considered unconventional or outside the mainstream.
Yeah, instead of shying away from the things that make us uncomfortable,
Right.
what if we leaned into them?
Yeah.
What if we explored those darker corners of ourselves, not with fear, but with a sense of curiosity
Right.
and a willingness to learn?
He's like giving us permission to embrace our own unique journeys,
He is.
even if they're messy or unconventional.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting you mentioned that he even talks about learning Aikido from his sensei, Frank Wong Sing,
Oh, right.
which again speaks to this exploration of physical practices alongside the artistic and the introspective.
He creates such a beautiful tapestry, like weaving together all these different influences and practices.
Yeah.
And it really drives home the point that like personal growth is not a one-size-fits-all
It's not.
endeavor.
Yeah.
It's about finding what works for you.
Exactly.
What helps you tap into your own inner strength and resilience.
Your own path.
So to bring it back to our listener,
Yes.
what can we take away from this deep dive
Yeah.
into Ewell Juliana's Grip Plingira? What's the ultimate message here?
I think it's an invitation to embrace our own complexities.
Okay.
To find strength and inspiration in unexpected places.
Yeah.
You know, Juliana's story really encourages us to explore different modalities, whether it's journaling movement, connecting with nature, or immersing ourselves in art that speaks to our souls.
It's about recognizing that healing and self-discovery are ongoing journeys.
Yes.
Not destinations.
They're not a destination.
And sometimes it's in those darker, less explored corners
Right.
where we discover our greatest strength and our most authentic selves.
Absolutely. And perhaps the most important takeaway is that power of owning our stories,
Yes.
of expressing ourselves authentically without judgment, just like Ewell Juliana did in Grip Gara.
And who knows, maybe in sharing our own stories, we might just inspire someone else to embrace their own unique path
Exactly.
to inner strength.
That's a great point to end on.
Yeah, this has been really fascinating.
It has been.
I really enjoyed this deep dive.
Me too. And you know what's so interesting about this book is that it really gets you thinking
It does.
about your own journey and how you approach personal growth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like anybody who's interested in exploring those unconventional paths to self-discovery I think they would really resonate with this book.
They would. And you know what else I appreciate about it is that it's not preachy.
Right.
It's not telling you what to do.
It's not like a prescriptive guide.
Exactly. It's more like a conversation, a sharing of experiences.
Like he's right there with you.
Exactly. He's right there with you on the journey, and he's like, hey, this is what worked for me. Maybe it'll work for you, maybe it won't, but let's explore it together.
Yeah, I love that. And it shows that it's okay to be drawn to, like, the darkness, to those unconventional things.
Right.
Because there's also beauty and strength to be found there.
Absolutely. It's all part of the human experience.
Awesome. Well, this was fantastic. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
It was really a pleasure exploring grip playar with you. Until next time, keep exploring those unconventional paths.
Absolutely.
And remember, the journey to inner strength is always ongoing.
It is a journey.